Good morning, good evening. Hello, everybody. Going into year 3, August. So more than 2.5 years into this Fire Promoter save. Get that going here momentarily. I had to download the newest DLC that came out. I guess there were some new moves added, and as quickly as some of the very talented creators of these CAWs were able to implement some of these new moves and parts and whatever else bits and pieces came with it, it required me to be able to continue in this to download it to buy the DLC. It was like $13-14, so not too bad. Look, I don't buy many video games anymore, so paying a little bit extra to support one like this that I really like, I can handle that. And it's nice knowing that it's not going to be in 1 year they're going to try and do it all over again, like it's a recurring sport, or like the WWE series. You know, that double and triple dipping gets old quick. But when it's a one-time thing and it's new content being put out there, I can certainly handle that. Okay, I need to... There are things that you don't see that I see on the screen, which is a good thing in a lot of ways because it just means you see the game itself. But for me, it's still getting used to some of the user interface and even beyond that, just on my own computer here, trying to get everything the way that I want it. Okay, so here's the overview. Had a very successful show. Our July show had a sellout 65,000 as that was the first month I was able to use the large arena for AEW. And main event, that was Chris Jericho. His first successful heavyweight championship defense of his 4th reign going on now. He beat Cedric Alexander by way of a flash knockout thanks to the Codebreaker. Cedric had been on a roll as well, and Cedric remains the junior heavyweight champion. So as you can see, I'm up to just shy of $7.7 million in assets. So I've moved ahead of Extreme Championship Wrestling, as far as that goes. See, I'm up to 5th. If you look at a previous rank, there it is. I'll go to this screen, but on another board where it's a little bit easier to maneuver under consultation. Most of my crew should be ready to go for this upcoming show, for this August show. Finally have Mike Awesome back after he was hospitalized for 3 months. He and Barry Windham are the tag team champions, and definitely plan on them having a title defense here on this show tonight. Try and scroll down to see if the tricks will work here, and it will. Okay. So where do you get the OBS interface, which works very well overall, but then I try and pull up the actual game itself, and I've got a pretty wide monitor, but a lot of information to try and parse through with this. But only 3 wrestlers on this upcoming show in poor condition to be held out, and that includes Cedric Alexander, who got knocked out in the main event of the last show, so certainly understandable. Also, Yoshihashi and Yilong both are in poor condition. I do want to do a few salary bump ups. Walter, I'll give a little more. 2,500. Want that trust a little bit higher. All right, so we have Walter taken care of. Goldberg, I'll give some more money as well. Move him up to 25,170. I mean, it's an S popularity. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I mean, again, the TV money that I've got coming in now with that national contract, $300,000 a month. Like clockwork. Which certainly works for me, at least at this point in the game. Okay, so we bumped up Goldberg a little bit. Shima and T-Hawk. Shima fell back down to a B level on popularity after losing on the previous show to Bill Goldberg, although it's not much shame in losing to Goldberg, but nevertheless, he dropped back down to a B. I'll give him a slight bump up. The trust is, you know what, I'll go medium, because Shima, as I've noted before, was stuck in that D category for a long time as far as popularity. So I guess he's a little agitated that he isn't making more money. So see if that's really will totally change their level of trust, as this claims. All right. I guess the last one's going to be T-Hawk. I mean, I got T-Hawk for a steal when you think about it. Granted, C popularity, but he wasn't a B. He just dropped back down. We'll go 1436 for T-Hawk. All right. All right, for my scouts, we'll go Europe. Let's go freestyle Europe, and we'll go 4 months for Mr. Takahiro. And Lucha, we'll go 6 months. Give you some time down there to find me somebody there, Carlos. Mr. Velez. So we'll move both of those into the make offer category. Of course, the one opportunity per month to offer a contract. And there's some pretty decent prices, aside from some of these last couple here. As far as some of those guys have been just sitting out there in the open market. But they haven't been looking to sign with me. And I don't know if that's because they're based in Latin America and my promotion's based in North America. Or just America, or however they describe it in the game. But at this point, junior heavyweights remain a priority. Pillman keeps coming in and doing a good job. He keeps losing, but that's okay. Puts my guys over. Can't complain too much about that. And Sami Zayn performed well in the last show. I'd love to have both of them on board. I think I've tried with both of them this sign. I'll try again with Pillman. I'd really like to bring him on board. Although, let's see. Strong. Really, if it's anything but King's Road, they're going to tell me. Let's see. Now, it's 1,000 for Sami Zayn. But for Pillman, I guess the extra $500 VIG that they tack on there is because of the higher salary for Pillman, although I don't know that for sure. All right, we'll give it a try. $31,200 signing bonus here for Brian Pillman. Here we go. All right. Took a couple of tries, but Flying Brian's finally on board. was sprinting over to the save screen to lock that in. Take a quick look at the championship picture. As noted, Chris Jericho retained his AEW heavyweight title on the last show. And with Mike Awesome returning from hospitalization, he'll be teaming up tonight with Barry Windham to defend the tag team championship. Cedric Alexander has earned a month off after unsuccessfully challenging Jericho for the AEW heavyweight championship. So we'll go back to this screen here for a moment. Okay, so I have 17 wrestlers available. My count is correct. And I think I've got one other. Yeah, I've got Batista coming in as a one-off from WWE. Although I'm not sure if that means I have to actually go get him from WWE for this month, or because it said he's, or did I already work that out? I think it just said he's coming in. Okay, it's already blacked out, so that tells me that he's already out on loan. And as it is, I'm not going to stay on this book event screen, but I will jump in just to see what it does when I go over to W. There he is. Okay, so Batista's there. Now, granted, the popularity is lower than I would like, but it's going to be a fresh matchup if nothing else. And I'm most definitely going to use the blue Tista. Well, that's not what I was looking for. You go with regular, you go with red, blue, and black. The blue Tista. And that gets the nod for me. So, okay, that's how that's set up. Go ahead and back out of this screen for the moment. So again, I'll go through this one more time here to make sure I'm not overlooking something. Okay, so that is 17 and then now 18 with Pillman and 19 with Batista. So I can, for this upcoming show, let's see. Do some invites. And this is something that I know came up in chat on the last month streaming on here about how you can steal belts from guys if you bring them in, if you borrow somebody for a month. So Kota Ibushi, now granted his popularity is not going to do a lot for me as far as my show goes, but those belts sitting there. Although I don't know if New Japan would even do business with me or how that would work. Ishimori, the real life version of Ishimori, super impressive. Okay, but really borrowing somebody from, unless I can get somebody that's high enough popularity-wise in the U.S. or America. And really, that's just, unless I go and, yeah, I think that's the tag team championship for WWE. I could bring in Styles if they'd let me. Okay, that seems to be a cost-prohibitive move. I think just given that WWE is, as far as their overall net value, is so much higher than mine. Although that could be just a matter of me giving it a try anyway and just hoping it works. Although there does seem to be that financial deterrent in place. As long as Sammy will keep working for me, I'll keep booking him. Alright, so Sami Zayn. Maybe I can find a Lucha guy to put him against. Aero Lucha. Okay. Now that seems reasonable to see if they would lend me Mysterio. Okay, it doesn't have this large disclaimer at the beginning like it did on the WWE one about being a much larger company, so we'll see. Well, Ricochet. Let's see if he'll come on board. Okay. That's not working, so we'll try the free agent market again. Bring in 2 more guys. And as it is... Okay, it doesn't list my promotion, but with Pillman being a strong category, I can have a strong style matchup. I mean, no pun intended, just on the actual match style. $85,000 as a one-off. Part of me almost doesn't want to do that, though. Much like the real-life AEW, I don't want to be just bringing in retreads and guys that were able to escape from their rather legally dubious, in my estimation, contracts with WWE. The independent contractors that, if you look into the Small Business Administration guidelines, actually do not fit under several of those. But what's that saying? Everybody cuts their own deal? I think it'd be much better to try with, instead of spending with Roman, it would cost me about $80,000 just to put the offer in. Juice. Now, granted, I don't have to worry as much about salary as before, especially for the one-offs. Goldberg versus Roman. That has potential. They're both S popularity. Goldberg doesn't have any belt, so if he loses, won't be the end of the world for me. 85 grand. All right. Okay. So I will try with one more invite. Get myself to an even number. Junior heavyweights. We'll see if Marco Stunt will... Well, he's listed as strong, and that's not really what I'm looking for. I think Metallico, well, he's strong, so that doesn't even help me any. And if I wanted King's Road, I could just bring in Nitro. He works cheap, and he declined a contract, I think, when I tried with him before. All right, let's see. Somebody that will work Lucha style. Scorpio. $2,000 to bring him in. Okay. So that's one match I can go ahead and pencil in for this August show. Although really, Goldberg versus Roman Reigns special attraction match ought to be good. But I'll go ahead and note that it is. I'll put Lucha next to it on my little notepad here for two non-Lucha guys, Sami Zayn and Too Cold Scorpio. All right. So the event, I've done the invites. I already have Batista coming in as a one-off, so between that and the 3 invites, and of course now with Pillman being a roster guy, I'll have to see if Pillman can get a victory so I can justify giving him a championship opportunity against Cedric Alexander once he recovers. Before I start from the main event and work my way back, I'll double check my available wrestlers for the show. And again, if their condition is poor, that means I'm not considering them. So that's 17 right there. That goes 18, 19, and 20. Batista at 21. Okay, so Pillman is already included in there. Okay, I really do need to invite one more then. Spend a little bit of cheddar on this show. That's why I always like to check it first. I've learned the hard way that if you don't, then sometimes you have a lot of work you've got to start from the beginning and redo for no good reason, just because that's the way the interface is set up on here. All right, one more invite. Just try and freshen things up to the junior heavyweights as much as possible. Yeah, I keep running into that with Astral and Audaz. Well, I think there's not a better price out there in the market than the gentleman Jervis Cottonbelly. So Jervis said no. How about Johnny Idol? Although he's a D. Idol's a D, and really so is Jervis. I just, for the humor of it on that one, was thinking that might be a good idea. Sho Tanaka just sitting out there at a really good price too. It might be fun to bring in Liger as a one-off and have that be Brian Pillman's first match as an official contract wrestler forming AEW. Shades of 1991 WCW, the first match on the very first Nitro from the Mall of America, which was 23 and a half years ago, which still absolutely just blows my mind. Time just keeps on moving faster and faster, it seems like, the older I get. Okay, let's see, Liger. Well, let's see. All right. For $76,000, I'm glad that he was able to accommodate me. Okay, so we'll go to the event. So again, we know 17 healthy available guys for AEW. Batista on loan is 18, 19, 20, and 21 for North America. Free agents on an invite, and then 22 for Liger out of Japan on an invite. All right. So it'll be 22 wrestlers total. What I might do is have Pac and Ambrose challenge for the tag team championship because they're both at an S level. I've got 5 S guys: Goldberg, Ambrose, Pac, Jericho, and Kenny Omega. And of course I have number 6 for this show with Roman Reigns. Jericho has been defending the title a lot, the heavyweight champion. Or I say a lot. He's been wrestling a lot the last few shows. He won the title, defended it, and actually beat Pillman on a show back in May. Let me take a look again here at what Jericho's looking at health-wise. In good condition, all green. Another option might be holding off a title defense for a month for Jericho. Put him like in a tag match or something. Maybe have him team up with Omega. But okay, I know Zayn and Scorpio are matched up. B popularity, so we'll get to them a little later. Know that Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg are matched up for this show. I'm actually going to make a note here on my little notepad. That's not a title match. Goldberg and Roman. But Jericho with a question mark, so I'm still deciding. And do the tag title defense. Ambrose and Pac have teamed up a lot for me, going back to the very beginning when I had very limited resources as far as both money and available wrestlers. But they made for a pretty good team. So that'll be the first tag team title defense for Mike Awesome and Barry Windham. But as noted, that leaves Jericho without an obvious choice. Although Jericho versus Walter has potential. Walter's been, I think he had like a month where he was out with or was in poor condition. I didn't book him, and then the next month I sent him to, where was it? Was it WWE? Wherever I sent him to. He was gone last month, but he's back now. And just looking over the results from earlier here in year 3, Walter didn't wrestle on the March show. He was resting up. He lost to Barry Windham in February. So you gotta go back 6 months for the last time Walter's lost a match. I'll take one other look here over my list of Jericho matches. Jericho has had one match with Walter. It was the very beginning of year 2. Part of the long run Jericho had as the heavyweight champion. When after winning the title, he had 6 consecutive successful defenses before he finally dropped the title to Mike Awesome in May of year 2. Here in August of year 3, I think we'll plan for that. Although I may not put... No, I got to put the title match has got to go main event, I would think. Jericho versus Walter. Let's put AEW heavyweight. And actually do have to put that distinction with my company name because Jericho has both the AEW and the ECW heavyweight championships. And actually, I think it was ECW last month that had an opening in a tournament. But I sent Walter, who's not a junior heavyweight, just to kind of find out what would happen, and nothing really happened. I mean, he came back, he's in good condition, so still new in the box, sort of. But even though that's not an S versus S match, that's my title match, and that's going to be the main event. So Jericho versus Walter for the heavyweight singles championship. Goldberg versus Roman in a dream match in the semi-main. Knowing how some of these Goldberg matches have gone a bit shorter than you might expect. Maybe just for the best to have him in the semi-main spot as opposed to the main event. Just hope this isn't like WrestleMania 18 where the WWF put Hogan and The Rock on before Hunter taking on Chris Jericho for the... I don't know, that's where they had botched that invasion angle so horribly. Although it's funny, for as much as Vince McMahon's side won the war, he lost his name. WCW still name you here on TV today, ECW, but they can't say WWF because they apparently don't think the law applies to them in certain cases, and as a result, things like that happen. At least not to blur out the logo anymore, that scratchier logo. That made for some uncomfortable viewing. So, okay, with 22 wrestlers, one tag match, I'll probably do a second tag match of some sort. So we'll make that a 9-match show. Configure a title match here. There's a Chris Jericho. Jericho defends against Walter in the main event. And this right here will be our special attraction match. First time ever, Bill Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. And that's a Roman edit that only has one outfit. Not that it really matters, since they only have for the one show. All right, at this point, I think we'll go with the Tag Team Championship match. Where it says Barry Team. Again, the user interface being insufficient for what actually you need in that spot, but I know that's Barry Windham and Mike Awesome. As you can see there, Windham and Awesome. And they'll defend taking a second to look over. Actually, the last tag team champions before Windham and Awesome won the tag belts were actually Omega and Jericho. So only real reason that's a fresh match, first time ever here in Fire Promoter. There's Ambrose. And there's Pac, who's still stuck with his WWE name of Neville in the game. Can't change that, unfortunately. Okay, they're wearing yellow and black. Okay. Yeah, that's enough differentiation there with some red and Neville's outfit. It's funny, I try and scroll down on my little notepad to look over some of the matches or match possibilities, and making the slate for the card scroll up a few spots. Not what I was intending to do there. Probably a good spot for Kenny Omega. He's my lone remaining S-level wrestler that's not booked as of yet. Kenny Omega at 205, listed as a heavyweight. Brian Pillman at 227 as a junior. So Kenny Omega. I could have... I've had Omega and Terry Gordy wrestle twice, and that was in year 2. Or actually, the end of year 2, beginning of year 3, because Omega beat Gordy for the heavyweight title and then successfully defended it against him 1 month later. Okay, Wyndham and Awesome are defending the tag titles. They're not available. Cedric is in poor condition. He's not available. And that leaves one guy sitting there left at A level for me. And that's Gran Guerrero. And actually, for a time in this game, I had Omega and Gran Guerrero teaming up. That's when I had Chris Jericho as the heavyweight champion and not looking to do tag team matches. And again, with fewer wrestlers available earlier, had to just kind of make do with some makeshift teams. But at the very least, this will be their first singles match, this being between Omega and Gran Guerrero, since they were together the AEW Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. They won it in May of year 2. Omega and Gran Guerrero did with the heavyweight tag titles, defended successfully against Dean Malenko and T-Hawk, then losing them to Dean Ambrose and Pac, who are also, as it turns out, challenging for the tag team titles on this show. So it's going to be Kenny Omega, Gran Guerrero, and since Omega has the green tights, I'll give the blue alternate color for Gran Guerrero here. At this point, I'm going to go with the Lucha style match. Yeah, Liger's a B. I've got to decide Liger and... I might go Liger and Pillman here, actually. Yeah, Pillman's an A. I just didn't have him on the sheet because I made this little list before I started the stream when I was waiting for the patch to download and then for the DLC to download. All right. The first two outfits are great. You had the Flying Brian Cincinnati Bengals. You got Hollywood Blondes era Pillman, and then you've got red and blue. This will be Pillman's first match as a contract wrestler for me here in AEW. He still is strong for his match style. There's my Lucha guys. Okay, I gotta think about this for a second. Because it's not strong for Liger, he's a showman. Well, for as much money as I paid him to come, I hope he'll show up. So actually we'll keep that as a King's Road match. This will be the Lucha match right here. Oh, let's see. We'll stick with the thick beard, wintertime Sami Zayn, that third outfit. So it's 2 invites with Zayn and 2 Cold Scorpio. And I'll be sure to double check this for all the matches before I set it up. But just so I don't forget, lock it in now as a lucha match. That leaves 3 matches to go. Let's do a quick reset to figure out. Okay, I got Batista. I lose a D popularity. And I guess he doesn't trust WWE. I presume that's about them and not me. So I will make a note of this to myself just to remember that it's a D level for Batista. So I'll probably end up having Batista in an opening tag match, presuming that I've got 8 wrestlers healthy and ready to go like I believe I do. Well, Batista's 1. Flyer at 2. Malenko at 3. Gordy sitting around at 4, and I'll probably have Gordy in this match right here. Tanaka makes 5. T-Hawk makes 6. Yilong, poor condition. Shima makes 7. There's Cody at number 8. I have a feeling I'm going to team up Cody and Batista in the opener in a tag match. So, okay, I'll go and get Gordy locked in here. He's an A popularity. Put him in the red for the moment until I decide. Although this decision will probably largely have already been made for me. Flyer with Arrow Luchas. I believe that's their heavyweight championship. Even though Flyer is a junior, it's one of those where they brought him in, or I was able to send him in for a tournament, and he came back with a nice prize for me. Looking through my notes here, trying to see with Gordy if he and Flyer have ever had a match. Gordy had a match against the junior heavyweight 2 months ago on the Junior 3 show where he beat Pac. Okay, Walter. I was Walter. I'm looking at the wrong one. Walter and Flyer had a match, but that's really immaterial. I'm talking about Terry Bam Bam Gordy right here. So Gordy lost to Dean Malenko on the April Year 3 show. Okay, so we're going to go with Gordy against Flyer. Malenko is a B. He'll almost for sure be in here. I might go Malenko versus Masato Tanaka. And do something like T-Hawk and Shima against Cody and Batista in the opener. I think that's the best route to take on this. Last month it was Masato Tanaka's debut after I signed him to a contract. He was victorious over Cody. A win over Malenko here would certainly help as far as moving up the rankings. So this last part's very easy. 4 wrestlers, tag team match. I actually been wanting to test this out because before, there were a couple of months in a row where I had tag team matches, 2-on-2 matches in the opener, had a 30-minute time limit, and it went to the time limit of 30 minutes, but then listed a winner and a loser. So I'm at a loss to explain why it did that. So we'll go with Blue Tista, Dave Bautista, and Cody Rhodes. A different shade of blue, as it were. It's T-Hawk. And Yi Long. Very good. Now's a chance to configure the match style and rules. Most of these will be one fall, 30-minute time limit, Kings Road match style matches. There's, of course, a lucha match, as I explained before, with the rationale of both of them being invites that prefer lucha, according to their listings. You know what? I might actually change this one to be a showman style match, because that's the kind of match Jushin Liger prefers. Pillman's under contract, so he's going to do what I tell him to, I suppose. But at least if this will help cut into the risk of Liger no-showing, then I think it's a worthwhile effort. And certainly Pillman has plenty, or he had plenty of showman skills during his career. Omega and Gran Guerrero, one fall 30 minutes. I'm going to go one fall 45 minutes for the heavyweight tag team championship match. Goldberg and Roman. Normally, I would go 30 minutes. But the problem here, if I do that, I've got Roman Reigns just for this one show. So, granted, he might win. If so, then oh well. But if it goes to a draw, then that's a rather unsatisfactory ending. Now, I'm not sure how effective it would be if this match were to go beyond 30 minutes. But as noted, Goldberg's matches tend to go rather short. So with all that in mind, do want to have a winner, if at all possible. So we'll give them an opportunity to do a Broadway if they really want to, a time limit draw, but if they want that, they've got to go the full 60 minutes. Main event, Jericho defending the AEW Heavyweight Championship against Walter. And that's 9 matches total for the show. And we've got the configurations in place for all of them. I could consider shifting. So these back-to-back matches don't fit my typical style as far as promotion goes, and I could move Gordy and Flyer above that. But part of me wants to try it with the back-to-back matches that are non-standard for my company anyway, just to see what happens. And part of this, eventually this will run its course, and this particular save of a fire promoter, and at that point, time permitting, go with a 17 team. I keep saying team, but I go over the 17 company on the large size, but that'll be still a ways away. I'm having fun with it as it is like this, and on top of that, I keep learning new things from month to month. But the former is more important than the latter as far as fun factor goes. All right, so the arena, go TV commercial, let's say. Super no vacancy, capacity full house, 65,000. With no advertising at all, you're looking at 55,000. And with just a poster, that's the drawing power. You have a special attraction match like Goldberg versus Roman. Now, as an almost a form of insurance, I could go with the social media. That's overkill, but it's only an extra $4,400. Reason for doing that is if one of my invites no-shows, that's going to knock out at least one match, possibly two. And I found if you have the excessive demand beyond the capacity, even if you lose some fans because of the matches having to be taken off the card because of the no-show, you still come out okay because you've got a full house. So we'll go with that. Social media. And as I've explained a few times, but I'll reiterate for newer viewers, I've stuck with Takashi Nakamura, who I believe is just a made-up ref in the game. But he counts rather slowly. He doesn't just sprint to get there for a pinfall. Makes the matches go a little quicker. And more than anything, I noted increase in sustained success once I made the switch to him rather early, relatively early in the process. So I'm going to keep riding that hot hand until the wheels fall off, to mix metaphors. Of course, once I hit that confirmed match card, it's a different matter. Another line of thought would be, if I wanted to go $20 on the tickets, there's a full house. But there's a lot more risk involved if one or more of the invites no-show. So as much as I would like to do that and get double the money out of it, I'm going to play it a little safer. And again, poster advertising tier would have me with a capacity full house. I'm still going to bump it up the extra $4,400, a form of insurance, as it were, social media. So happy with all that. Go ahead and confirm the match card. And that locks you in. Definitely will save it here. We're spending a half hour carefully going through and curating and lining up and booking. Okay. Busy work time as we repair things in the gym. I'm actually going to boost my ring doctor up. That's a $58,900 investment. Plus the repair cost goes up per month when you put more into it as far as the expansion goes. But particularly with the limits that are in place as far as guys you can put under contract, keeping the guys I do have under contract as healthy as possible would be ideal. So that adds to the expenses for the month, but again, 65,000 fans expected, $300,000 from the television contract that started on the previous show. Okay, so we're set with the facility, the training center. Merch. We got a lot of merch. Held over those t-shirts. A little pricey, but it's not like I can adjust the price. That's more of a total extreme wrestling type element. But this is a fun little extra they have in here with this. We'll go $3,000 on the towels. We'll go $3,000 on the DVD/Blu-rays. Branded snacks. Live Dangerously, go $5,000, which hopefully I can sell $5,000 on a show with an attendance of 65,000 fans. Very good. Okay. Okay, I feel stupid. Then I don't feel stupid now. Confirm event is not what you think it is. It doesn't mean you can go through and edit it. It means you can take a look at what you've already got saved. Okay. I thought that was too good to be true. It's like, do a double take. Like, wait, did I overlook a very obvious thing? But no. Okay, so we'll go ahead and proceed. August of year 3, Fire Promoter. AEW. With 2 title matches. And a special attraction match. Bill Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. First time ever. And yes, we shall proceed. Okay. A lot of these I do want to watch, but there are 9 matches after all. Skip the opener. This is a test anyway. And it's like there's this delay when I start the or hit the finalize or whatever the button is on the previous screen to come to this one, and it doesn't tell me I had any no-shows. So perhaps it was for the best that I put Liger in that Showman match. Or maybe it didn't matter, I don't know. So we'll skip this. I know it's Batista, Blue Tista in there, but see, that's exactly what I was talking about. It's a 30-minute time limit. This, let's say, 30-minute match. And Yilong beating Batista with a stunner. What are the odds of that happening? So, I mean, it's a nice match evaluation. And I want to think it's 100% like that every time. Or close to it with a tag team match and a 30-minute time limit in that spot. At least in my experience. Perhaps that changes if you have different variables in play. Okay, here's what I will watch. A non-title match for the heavyweight champion out of New Japan. Dean Malenko just carries the belt around, I guess. So I don't make him defend it. Taking on Masato Tanaka in his second match with me since signing a contract before the previous show. I'm going to go off microphone here for just a second. Let you enjoy the opening moments of this one. This has been a really good match. Haven't been on headset. You get to see some of the first part of it. But that's not unusual for Dean Malenko matches on here. Backdrop into a cutter by Masato Tanaka. Into the corner goes Malenko. Another 2 count for Tanaka. Frog splash, but in the ropes. Another suplex from Malenko as we approach the 20-minute mark of the match. Masato whipped across the ring. Big clubbering blow from Malenko. And a few stomps to go with it. As Malenko plays to the crowd, goes for a roll-up, but they'll be stuck in the ropes. Another cutter from Masato Tanaka. Malenko dazed, able to regain his bearings enough to send Masato Tanaka to the other side. Masato, as they go back and forth. Finally for Tanaka, it's the advantage. Malenko hits the unforgiving blue tile outside the ring. That'll do it. Dean Malenko with a roll-up. Gets the win in 21 minutes, 38 seconds. Not surprisingly, a 100% match rating. So the show's off to a very good start. Everybody showed up, and the first 2 matches ended with a 100% match evaluation. Yeah, we'll skip Terry Gordy versus Flyer. So make that 3 out of 3. Got ourselves a show going on here. Gordy over Flyer with a lariat and a 100% match evaluation. We'll definitely watch this next one right here with the Lucha style, as preferred by Sami Zayn and Too Cold Scorpio. Let's save it here for sure. And here we go. I would really like to bring Sami Zayn on board to have, with him joining, potentially at least joining Brian Pillman as junior heavyweights to strengthen that division a bit for me. I think it would work to my advantage to have junior heavyweight tag champions, even if the belts were never defended. Crowd finally wakes up. First couple of minutes, it was rather subdued. Seeing a lot of early cover attempts. Not even a 1 count. Sharpshooter Scorpion Deathlock from, I guess, Too Cold Scorpio would use the Scorpion Deathlock. I don't know. Okay, this is definitely not a lucha match, but that designation might mean more than it appears on the surface. As far as what the parameters are of how the match style affects the crowd reaction, we've got a company that typically uses a different style match. Flip moonsault out of the corner, finally a 1 count. These two slowly wear each other down. And a right elbow from Zayn, who goes to the top rope. Connects with a senton. And Zayn's going to go to work on the left knee of Too Cold Scorpio. Two count only, but finally getting some counts beyond 0 or 1. Sometimes there's a little bit of luck involved with the referee. Well, he's over on the other side of the ring posing for pictures or whatever. Taking a while to get there, but if you happen to get a pinfall opportunity when he's right in front of you, he's not shy about starting to count right away. Zayn breaking out the high-flying moves. I guess that's why he's in that lucha category. What he prefers to do. Vertical suplex into a powerbomb and a near fall for Zayn. Scorpio's going to toss Zayn to the outside and take him time to a little bit of dancing. Zayn finally had enough. A quick roll-up. That's how Malenko got his victory earlier in this game. Stolen finisher. Blue Thunder Bomb from Scorpio to 2 count. Oh, cut Yaburi. Ultimate disrespect, the stolen finisher, but Zayn still has a lot of energy here at the 11-minute mark of this match. Pop up into a Rana. And a 2.9, a near fall for Sami Zayn. The first 2.9 we've seen in this match. Brainbuster vertical suplex. Standing backflip from Zayn. And again, only 2. Here's Zayn with a roll-up. While this has been back and forth, it seems to be moving in the direction of Sami Zayn. Scorpio needs some sustained offense. He won't get it here. Scorpio sent into the corner. Zayn's going to sit him on that top rope. Oh, what's this going to be? Suplex from the top rope to the floor. What a devastating move. Taking a fall like he's Cavadario out of CMLL. Now some brawling outside the ring. They got to watch the 20 count. More than halfway to the time limit of 30 minutes. Scorpio back in before the count reached 20 for the count out. And now Scorpio with a quick roll up. Standing switch, victory roll by Scorpio. But only a 2 count. DDT from Scorpio. He puts the boots to Zayn before picking him back up. And again, Scorpio, the quick roll up. And that'll do it. The crowd roars in approval. Very good match there between Too Cold Scorpio and Sami Zayn. Your winner, Scorpio. Just shy of the 17-minute mark. So we're happy with this, a 96% match evaluation. So while it did break the streak of 100% match evaluations, I mean, let's be realistic here. Next match we most definitely will watch. Opted to go with the showman style since that's what Jushin Liger prefers in this game. Pillman, who I just signed to a contract last month. I think he's either strong. Whatever it is, it's a different style, but it doesn't match with what Liger wants. But since Liger was the one I was trying to bring in, it was like $80,000 to make the offer. Decided to do what I could to make this as advantageous as possible for Jushin Liger. Okay, I did just save it. I couldn't remember. And we'll go to the match. Brian Pillman, Jushin Liger, 1 fall, 30-minute time limit. It's rather remarkable how long and proficient a career that Jushin Thunder Liger has had with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've seen him wrestle in person several times Saw him against Benoit at Starrcade 95. Against Rey Mysterio at Starrcade 96. Saw him wrestle Will Ospreay last year out in California. Saw him wrestle Billy Kidman in a dark match before a Nitro in Nashville in 1996. The point being, I've seen Liger a few times. And while it does seem like he's almost like ageless and timeless, reached the point where he's ready to call it a career. And I think rather wisely what New Japan's planning for Wrestle Kingdom next year. It's going to be 2 days at the Dome, and I get the impression one of those days is going to be the Jushin Liger retirement show, and the other the more traditional Wrestle Kingdom type show. Now with 2 days of Dome shows, I don't know if they're going to, if that just means matches will get enough time to breathe and not going to just rush everybody through, or what that's going to entail. I imagine they already have a plan in place. That would be surprising for New Japan to not have something planned out like that. Crossface submission maneuver applied by Jushin Liger. Tries to the drop toe hold, but Pillman, too savvy for that, steps aside. And now it's Pillman reversing a suplex, dumping Jushin Thunder Liger to the floor. That's the second time in 5 minutes, or even the last couple of minutes, Liger attempted a brainbuster vertical suplex only to have it reversed by Pillman. Palm thrusts from Liger. They trademark Jushin Thunder Liger, and again, it's Brian Pillman sending Liger tumbling to the outside of the ring. And there goes Liger, finally connecting with a brainbuster of his own. Figure 4 leg lock. Definitely pulling for Jushin Liger to win. Or I should say Brian Pillman to win. Jushin Liger to have a good match, but put him over, hopefully being the one that, considering that Pillman is the one that's under contract. And I've got Liger here on an invite, albeit a very expensive invite. There's that palm thrust. Goes for a tombstone pile driver, and he hits it. A pile driver on Pillman. Liger off the ropes, another palm thrust. Trying to make use of his striking ability. Irish whip, they collide, neither man moves. A second brainbuster out of Jushin Liger, countered by an Enzugiri by Brian Pillman. Pillman goes for a face lock submission maneuver. Side headlock, as it were. I imagine Pillman felt that palm thrust. There's momentum bringing him off the ropes, and the abrupt landing off the palm strike from Liger. Out of the submission move, Liger tries to take advantage, sit out powerbomb, and a near fall for Jushin Liger. Pillman barely escapes as Liger is taking control of this match. Shoulder block, and now Pillman's going to try and slow down Liger. Not a bad move actually here. Pillman's just going to give Liger the old heave-ho to the floor. Gives Pillman a chance to catch his breath at mid-ring while Liger has to labor through clubbing back in. Pillman reverses Liger to the corner. Liger has palm thrusts. Brian Pillman has chops, those knife-edge chops. And again, back to that side headlock by Pillman. cradle by Pillman. The 2 count only. Standing Frankensteiner. And now Pillman poised to come off the top rope. It's a clothesline off the top. It connects with Jushin Liger, and Pillman will go for the pinfall. But a 2 count only as Liger escapes. Another brainbuster out of Liger. Working on that neck of Brian Pillman. A 4th brainbuster. And while Pillman was able to have some success reversing those early, Liger now making use. A chop by Pillman. Neck breaker. As the crowd starts to get into it more past the 13-minute mark. And it's a running powerbomb. A critical Jushin Liger. The knockout on Pillman. The running powerbomb, and that does it. So your winner is Jushin Liger, beating Brian Pillman 13 minutes, 24 seconds. A knockout after a running powerbomb and a 94% match evaluation. You'll notice toward the top right the average card rating, 98%. So still holding strong. It's more than halfway through the show. Four matches remain on the card. I'm going to skip Omega and Gran Guerrero. I'm sure it would be entertaining, but I'm going to go ahead and skip it nonetheless. Maybe I made the right decision there. Kenny Omega gets the win. A sub 10-minute match with the one-winged angel. Provides the pinfall victory. Kenny Omega tries to climb back into contention for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. First of two title matches of the evening. Upcoming next. Champions Barry Windham and Mike Awesome having their first defense of this heavyweight tag team championship. They won it a few months back. It was a rather violent match against Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Windham and Ambrose won the title, or I should say Windham and Awesome won the titles over Omega and Jericho, but since then, Mike Awesome has been in the hospital until tonight. Confirmed here is a one-fall, 45-minute time limit match. It'll be Dean Ambrose and Pac, formerly Neville, against Barry Windham and Mike Awesome, the tag team champions. Hold up Firefox for a minute to reload the Wrestling Observer newsletter website. The awards issue is going to be coming out, like, if not in a matter of minutes, then in just an hour or two. When the latest edition of the Observer goes up on the website. I feel fairly confident that the 2 out of 3 falls match between Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega at Dominion last year for New Japan Pro Wrestling, well, it being the number one match, is the one that Dave Meltzer gave an unprecedented 7-star rating to. After that, plenty of great choices. I went with Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi from the G1 final as my number 2 match. It's just remarkable that both guys, but especially Tanahashi, with all of his injuries and all of his in-ring miles, so to speak, his many, many years of battles and injuries that every wrestler has to deal with, can still go out there being older than I am at his age and able to not only have a decent match, but a world-class quality match. And then at number 3, I ended up going with the G1 tournament, Kenny Omega versus Tomohiro Ishii. I really wanted to put in Ibushi versus Ishii from that same tournament. That was the match that, for the first time ever, Dave Meltzer docked a quarter star because of it being too violent for his taste. But still, it was a phenomenal match. Even if it's only 4.75 stars. I mean, it's because we're in the golden age of New Japan and work rate has never been more important. I mean, you would go years without seeing the volume of matches as highly rated as you saw just last year alone. Just an abundance of riches. With the added value of technology making it possible, if you can find a niche and fit in well, as Mike Awesome reverses the suplex attempt and Ambrose falls to the outside. If you can find your niche and find an audience, you can stream from halfway across the world live and in high definition. In New Japan World, it's less than $10 a month. Got the available catalog is, sometimes older matches you want aren't on there, but basically everything from 2015 on, and a lot of the good stuff from before. This count's getting later. Barry Windham trying to work a sneaky style there. Not the legal man, keeping Ambrose outside the ring, but Ambrose back in. Took him a moment, but he managed to evade Mike Awesome. Awesome will go for a power bomb, but Pac will foil that attempt with a spin kick. Now Awesome's going to tag in Barry Windham. I'm curious who's going to win the most underrated wrestler award. I voted for Chad Gable. You can take your pick from plenty of guys on that WWE roster. And there are others, not just WWE. You can make an argument for Teton and CMLL or a number of other guys. I imagine the Young Bucks are going to win Tag Team of the Year again. It's possible, though, that they could end up losing out to the Golden Lovers, the team of Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. Back elbow by Awesome. And then flips over at Ambrose. A harsh landing. A spear. Now Ambrose throwing some fists. I keep saying Ambrose is Awesome. Not Ambrose, of course. My mind works in kind of weird ways. Ambrose is a 7-letter name that begins with A and ends with E. So is Awesome. And it's Awesome with the big splash on Ambrose. And only a 1 count. Neckbreaker from Pac. Clothesline from Ambrose. Pac and Ambrose, the former AEW heavyweight tag champs, trying to regain the titles. While Barry Windham and Mike Awesome look to retain. is one fall, 45-minute time limit. If it goes to full 45, we have time limit draw, and Wyndham and Awesome will retain. Backdrop suplex there by Pac on the much larger Barry Windham. The standing Hurricane Rana. Showing off his leaping ability. Well, Windham will in turn show off his punching ability. Finishing off with a big left hand. German suplex pinfall attempt by Mike Awesome, and Pac escapes with a 2 count. I think Pac's trying to make the tag, and he is. Awesome caught him for a moment, which could have been problematic, but as it turned out, Pac escaped and tagged in Ambrose. So it's Ambrose and Awesome. German suplex for a second time there by Mike Awesome on Pac. Been a back and forth match thus far, 15 minutes in. Ambrose goes for the cover. Only a 1 count. Back elbows blocked by Mike Awesome. Some frequent tags by both teams in this match. A lot of back and forth counters. And then some hard hitting from Barry Windham. Clothesline running off the ropes. Inverted atomic drop on Ambrose by Windham. Mike Awesome, the legal man. He gets a elbow to the face from Ambrose. Ambrose goes for a fisherman suplex on Windham, but Wyndham's not the legal man. Awesome is. Ambrose realizes that. Elbows Awesome and tags in Pac. Too close to the ropes for Pac on that pinfall attempt. This could be an Awesome bomb. 2.9. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds. The DDT on Windham. Collision Pac and Windham are down. But Wyndham's not the legal man for his team. It's Ambrose. And Ambrose goes for another Awesome bomb. And Ambrose makes the save. Pump handle slam by Mike Awesome. Awesome's unloading fists. I've never seen a wrestler in this game get disqualified for punching to the 5 counts. Although I suppose it could happen. Pump handle attempt on Ambrose by Awesome. Broken up by Pac. But Awesome quick to tag in Barry Windham. Windham, the legal man. He's going to track down Pac outside the ring. Ambrose and Awesome battling inside. Super kick by Pac on Barry Windham. We approach the 20-minute mark. Running powerbomb inside the ring by Mike Awesome on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose was going to go for the Dirty Deeds backslide by Windham. They were in the ropes, but just to be safe, Pac breaks it up in a kick as it was. Pac was the legal man, not Dean Ambrose. Going for the submission finisher that Pac had in WWE. And a German suplex. All's fair and turnaround as Pac Germans Mike Awesome, but Awesome not the legal man. Windham tries to get the crowd behind him. Nice elevation on that drop kick by Barry Windham. Windham went for a kick. In that half second, it took Pac to get out of the way, slid past and made a tag to Dean Ambrose. Ambrose connects with a left hand to the back of the cranium of Windham. Both teams continue to work very smart with the frequent tags, keeping the fresh wrestler in the ring as much as possible. Awesome and Ambrose collide momentarily. Now Ambrose had Awesome in the corner, but Wyndham got a hold of Ambrose, and it's Mike Awesome with a spear. Some underhanded tactics used by the tag team champions. They try and retain those belts. Running shoulder block from Mike Awesome. Goes back to punches to the face on Dean Ambrose. Barry Windham, a power slam on Pac. And a kick to the junk on Ambrose. Ambrose, jawbreaker on Mike Awesome. And now Pac's in as the legal man, as the challengers look for a double team. Northern Lights suplex for the championship, but Wyndham's there to break it up as the crowd cheers in appreciation. Ambrose has Awesome and a sharpshooter. But Ambrose wasn't the legal man. Now Awesome off the top rope, a big splash to the back of Pac. Wyndham tags in. Flying lariat. This team with Mike Awesome and Barry Windham looking good. And knife edge chop from Windham. The Texas native picks up Pac, attempts a drop kick. Pac using his speed advantage. Although exhaustion surely setting in for all four participants. More than 26 minutes into this match. Inverted atomic drop by Windham. Pac's going to send him for the ride. Back around. And a drop kick with authority by Pac. Sends Windham reeling and allows Pac to tag Dean Ambrose back into the match. A flurry of kicks from Pac onto Windham. But Wyndham's going to roll up Ambrose. Small package. Pac's there to break it up, only a 1 count. Windham looks dazed. Perhaps that was a ploy to get Pac to lower his defenses. It's the pile driver. And then Ambrose gets in there with an ankle lock, and that's going to do it. We have new tag team champions. An absolute war of a match. More than 28 minutes. There's another tag team championship reign beginning now for the team of Dean Ambrose and Pac. But you know that Windham and Awesome are going to want a rematch sooner as opposed to later. So 100% the match evaluation here. New champions, Dean Ambrose and Pac. Save it right there. 2 matches to go. These will be the final 2 matches of the stream tonight. Just doing the 1 month. That ends up taking up enough time as it is. Did 3 months last week or whenever it was, and probably was going to lose my voice near the end. I'm not exactly in mid-season high school football broadcasting form just yet. So, okay, we'll go to the special attraction match. Bill Goldberg, representing AEW, versus Roman Reigns. Out on the free agent market, most recently with WWE. Way too expensive to bring in as a contract wrestler, but we'll have him here for this special first time ever match. Goldberg and Roman Reigns. 1 fall, 60-minute time limit. Not the norm for that particular spot for a singles match. It's not a title match, but this match is special. Really want there to be a winner and a decisive loser either way.
Fight!
if at all possible. And I have to give credit to WWE for the way they handled Bill Goldberg when he made his return. And I imagine a lot of that was him insisting on it, if they're going to be his way or not going to do it. But he came out and spoke from the heart on a show where they have all these robotic-sounding 2 count early for Goldberg. We have these robotic promos, and that's the way the talent's forced to do it. Unless they actually show some personality and unique charisma to get over above their slotting in the company. Another 2 count. Knee to the gut by Roman Reigns. Not even a 1 count on Goldberg. How great is it for the real-life Roman Reigns to have made that comeback against leukemia for a second time? Cancer's a horrible disease. Vertical press by Goldberg into a power slam on Roman Reigns. In the ropes, though, so no count. Roman's in trouble in this match. Goldberg has had the advantage. He's going to send Roman over that far corner. And Reigns ducks out of the way. And Goldberg goes face first into the padding. Reigns with a headbutt. Sliding elbow by Roman Reigns. And a spear from Goldberg. Going for the pinfall. A near fall for Goldberg. There's a power slam, another pinfall attempt. And another near fall. Roman Reigns might be in trouble. Goldberg goes for the jackhammer. Is he in the ropes, though? Roman Reigns just caught a break there. That could have been it. Underhook pump handle style slam from Goldberg. He's going to go for a second jackhammer. And this time, Roman Reigns is not in the ropes. Roman Reigns escapes. Staying alive in this match. He'll fall to the floor. Goldberg, with all the momentum, doesn't want to let up. He's going to take the fight out there to the people. Long enough to roll Roman Reigns back into the ring, I suppose. Now here's Reigns with a pin attempt. Draw a smattering of applause from the fans. Roman to the top rope. Connects with an elbow drop. In desperate times, perhaps calling for desperate measures. With a former Georgia Tech football standout. Off the ropes, and there's a spear from Roman Reigns. Both Goldberg and Reigns make use of the spear as a primary move in their offensive toolkits. Goldberg's going to set up. There's a spear, a running spear out of the corner, and this could do it for Roman Reigns. Bill Goldberg in less than 10 minutes. A rather one-sided match. Pins Roman Reigns. So 81% the match evaluation. Goldberg gets the win. And now we move on to our main event. Main event, one fall, 60-minute time limit. Champion is Chris Jericho. Keep in mind, this is August of year 3 in this game. And yet within that relatively small amount of time, Chris Jericho has managed to hold the AEW Heavyweight Championship on 4 different occasions. He is the current champion in his 4th reign, his first successful title defense 1 month ago, beating junior heavyweight champion Cedric Alexander. And Cedric had been on an absolute tear going into that match, but Jericho managed to knock him out, a KO, a critical, with a second code breaker, allowing Jericho to retain. A much different opponent tonight for Jericho in the form of Walter. I noted a little bit earlier, but Jericho most recently wrestled Walter in January of year 2. So about a year and a half game-wise, time-wise. That was during an earlier Jericho title reign, and it was a successful defense. Walter also had a championship opportunity of a different sort in May of year 2. And I thought I was going to be slick and play as Shane Douglas as the ECW champion, the heavyweight champion, who was on the open market. I guess one of his checks bounced for being true to life like the old ECW. So I thought I'd be smart and play as Shane Douglas and let Walter win. Well, I got into the match a little bit too much and chatting in the stream chat, and then ended up winning by submission, which was not the idea. But that's all in the past for Walter, who has been on a bit of a winning streak. Hasn't lost since February of this year. Jericho has been my main star to this point, 2.5 years in and counting, in August of year 3. So we'll see what Jericho has as he goes up against a much larger opponent in Walter. One fall, 60-minute time limit. Walter tries to work on Jericho's neck early, whereas Jericho rather wisely tries to knock Walter down from a vertical base. And that's one of the reasons why. That size advantage. Although Jericho with a power slam. Walter just those clubbing shots to the back. And when he starts unleashing the chops, brace yourself. I experienced that in person as a fan last year over WrestleMania 34 weekend. seeing Walter wrestle live in person for the first time. And I've seen plenty of his matches on video, and his chops look very hard and very heavy, almost Katsuya Kitamura-like. But they were all that and then some, seeing them in person. Walter goes for a cover early, but not even a 1 count. An exchange like this you think would work to Walter's advantage, and indeed he gets the upper hand there and drops an elbow to the face of Jericho, going back to the neck now. That has been an area of attack for Walter in this match. There's the heavy chop from Walter. Walter going to the top rope. Oh, an ill-advised effort there, and Jericho might be able to take advantage. So much for that. Jericho gets a back elbow and a heavy chop for his efforts. Those chops are no fun, but if Jericho is able to duck and dodge and get out of the way, he can allow Walter to potentially tire himself out. Oh, that chop on the money. A cheer from the crowd when Walter went for the pin attempt there, trying to catch Jericho by surprise. Boston Crab. One way to keep Jericho from putting the walls of Jericho on you is to put your own Boston Crab on him. Make it difficult for his legs to work properly as far as applying the hold goes. Walter throws Jericho into the corner. Here's some heavy chops. Blistering shots to the chest of the AEW Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho off the ropes. Walter gives Jericho a kick to the face. Deadlift German suplex. Walter showing a little bit of exhaustion. Jericho went for a Rana, turned into a powerbomb and a pinfall attempt, a 2 count. Walter nearly snuck one in there. All you need is 1-3 count to get the victory. Walter can do that. He'll once again be AEW Heavyweight Champion. Release German suplex. Jericho seems out of it. Double underhook suplex by Walter. And a big lariat. Kenta Kobashi style. Walter for the cover to win the championship. A 2 count. Jericho wisely sending Walter off the ropes, try and tire him out a bit. Hit with the running punch. Come on! Body slam by Jericho, followed by an Enzugiri. And just a rough hit right to the face by Walter, followed by a harsh kick. Another German suplex. Running bulldog by Jericho. At least I think that's a bulldog. I think that's what the animation's supposed to be. Backbreaker by Jericho. Walter's got those combinations. A punch to the face will daze you just long enough to leave you open for a heavy chop. How much of that can Jericho withstand? But Walter's dazed, and he'll get knocked back down with a drop kick from Jericho. Tries for the heavy chop. Jericho backs away. Whatever Jericho was efforting there, blocked by Walter. Just come on, bring it. Jericho's tried to oblige, but it's a back body drop by Walter as Jericho goes falling to the mat. And now a strike exchange again. And you would think at this spot it would be to the advantage of Walter, but both guys wiped out, but Walter did get the advantage the last shot in that exchange. There's that slap to the face that dazes Jericho, and Jericho has to work dirty Low blow. Back brain kick. This fighter, Hayabusa. Another move blocked by Walter, and a heavy chop. Win or lose, Jericho is going to be feeling this one for a while. Clothesline from Walter. Now Jericho with a powerbomb pinfall combination. And a near fall. This doesn't feel any good. You're on the receiving end of 4 harsh consecutive chops from Walter. There's one more. Jericho slumped in the corner. Moves out of the way. Walter crashes and burns on the kick attempt. Almost like a haluva kick. Like Sami Zayn. And Jericho, walls of Jericho. Submission maneuver as the champion tries to retain with a submission. Tries to get Walter to say, "I quit," to tap out. But Walter escapes. Heavy chop and nobody's home. Walter exhausted. Double birds. Double tall men from Jericho. And it's a code breaker. Jericho's going to go for the cover to retain the championship. And a kick out from Walter. We're 16 minutes into this one. It's a 60-minute time limit in this championship match. Walter keeps missing with those chops. And that's what Jericho has to do, keep backing away. There's Walter getting a hold of him in the corner. A couple of kicks and he's choking him. The side of his boot up against the neck of Jericho. Jericho with a Northern Lights suplex pinfall attempt. A near fall, Walter escapes and the crowd cheers and claps in appreciation. What a match this has been. A second code breaker by Chris Jericho, but he can't take advantage, at least not right immediately. Finally goes over to make the cover. But just too much time between the code breaker hitting and the pinfall attempt. Another Northern Lights, they'll be in the ropes, and that'll be a rope break. And Jericho's on a roll, and that roll came to a screeching halt. Big clothesline. Walter going for the win. And a 2 count. Another Northern Lights close to the ropes. Those long legs of Walter underneath that bottom rope. And thus a rope break. Standing switch. Jericho sends Walter into the corner. This Walter with a double underhook suplex. Both men showing the signs of exhaustion. Jericho goes to the top rope, biding his time, waiting for Walter to stand. A dazed Walter will get a code breaker off the top rope from Chris Jericho. The third code breaker hit in this match. He's going to go for the win, but a kick out. 3 code breakers, not enough. I thought that was going to be it. And now Jericho, the walls of Jericho, walks in the submission maneuver. Will this do it? Walter with the intestinal fortitude, hanging in there against the champ. Against the wrestler who more than anybody else has been the ace of AEW in this 2.5 years here on Fire Promoter. Basement drop kick, Jericho to the knee, and there's yet another code breaker. Will this be enough for the pin and to retain the title? Walter escapes. The double underhook is turned to a back body drop by Jericho. You can tell the momentum is shifted. Will I say that Walter, an exploder suplex after a back elbow. Another exchange of shots, blows back and forth. Walter has won every one of those exchanges tonight, but he's blown up at this point, gasping for air. It's the brainbuster vertical suplex, but again, earlier in the match, Walter, with his great strength, able to get a lot of combination moves against Jericho. But as Jericho has worn him down, put him in a tough spot, but a German suplex, like several he had earlier in this match, connects for Walter, and Jericho showing signs of exhaustion. But a dazed Walter picked up and dropped. Walls of Jericho. It's a submission. And Chris Jericho retains the AEW Heavyweight Championship. 23 minutes, 26 seconds. It wasn't easy. But Jericho gets the win. And most definitely, rightly so, with that match evaluation. A lot of fun with that match. 100% evaluation. Jericho retains the AEW Heavyweight Championship. And that's how the last match of the August Year 3 show will end. 65,000 strong. And an average card rating of 94%. Okay, so Flyer is injured. He'll be out for... It says they need 3 off. That means 3 months. And some of the text in this game... I'm glad to have this mode here, don't get me wrong, but some of the text is... could have used a little bit of a looking over as far as the translation went. Although, by and large, they do a pretty good job when it comes to that sort of thing. Like New Japan, they have the translated promos they put up. I thought Minoru Suzuki was scary before, but then you see those translated promos. They got that evil, almost like diabolical delivery. It's fascinating and brilliant and horrifying all at the same time. And you see Minoru Suzuki's Instagram page. They don't slur all those letters together. These zany pictures of him out having fun or wearing a funny hat or whatever. But don't cross the man. You almost for sure will regret it. So Flyer's in the hospital. Pillman's in the hospital. Pillman had that war. That harsh back and forth match with his longtime rival Jushin Liger. Not only lost the match, but a hospital stay in the future for Brian Pillman. Dean and Blank being Pac or Neville. Once again, the heavyweight tag team champions. I think 3 times, either 3 or 4 times tag team champs now. So I feel good about the decision to use the extra level of promotion. It was an extra $4,400 to move up one level from poster to whatever the next tier was. But if one of the invites had pulled a no-show on me, I wanted to have some buffer, so... I mean, to me, that's just insurance. That's a no-brainer. $4,400 to make sure that a show that I'm got expenses north of $1 million into, that I'm not going to take that. Come on. Carl Anderson, the new WWE Heavyweight Champion. Dragon Lee, I presume, there. $8.5 million, the assets for AEW as the end of year 3, month 8, August. Keeping in mind the expenses were a bit higher this month with the expansion to the doctor, or doctor's office, or whatever they call it in the training room menu. So that boosted the expenses up a bit more than they would have been otherwise. Plus, it cost a bit to bring in Jushin Liger. But in spite of that, still pulled in excess of $850,000. And we should be in a good position going into September. Okay. This month you have a singles tournament scheduled with ECW, which is code for send one of your guys over. And maybe you can win one of our belts. I've already got their heavyweight belt, so I need to send a junior heavyweight. I can't send Flyer because he's hospitalized. I can't send Pillman because he's hospitalized. So we'll see what I can do. So am I to believe that Carl Anderson joined WWE and then won their heavyweight championship the same night? Hey, that's great. That's better than a lot of stuff they've come up with. I wish people that watch WWE and only WWE realize just how accomplished Carl Anderson was in New Japan Pro Wrestling, how talented. I mean, he made the finals of the G1, and they wouldn't have had him do that if they didn't believe he was able to put on good matches, be entertaining. Definitely an underrated part of the success that New Japan had as its golden age began. I think of that with the I have to pull out the exact Wrestle Kingdom. The numbers start to run together after a while, but essentially when Okada came in and caught fire, that following Wrestle Kingdom, that next year, he'd come back from TNA. He had a bad match with Yoshihashi, that goof. And I'll hold off on anything that would be a spoiler for the New Japan Cup. Although I have watched Chase Owens' match with Yoshihashi, which was the semi-main event on the most recent show. So Toshiaki Kawada retires. And thinking of Kawada, I was watching that Ishii versus Taichi match at the main event of that show. I was referencing that had Yoshihashi in the main event. I thought Kevin Kelly did a very good job of explaining how much of Taichi's moveset is similar to what Kawada had in All Japan Pro Wrestling, because Kawada's who trained Taichi. And it's a real shame for Taichi that he's not that good in the ring, that his timing's off. I mean, that's just a fact. Because he does a lot of the out-of-the-ring stuff very well. I mean, the intentional lip-syncing guy wearing a mask gimmick works for him. However, Miho Abe, when she shows up, adds with her dramatic interpretation. His promos are funny. I think besides maybe Minoru Suzuki and maybe, I don't even know who else, maybe Naito, but the promos from Taichi, and these are translated promos that are making me laugh. You know, it's not like Toru Yano's style where a lot of it's physical comedy and it's just Yano and he makes it work where nobody else possibly could do it the way he does. Raven retires. Curious with some of these companies that are losing guys to retirement, if they're going to replace them with free agents or if they're just going to get smaller, or how that works. Okay, no luck for my scout. Oh, which Dean is it? Ambrose or Malenko? Actually, there's a trick I can show you to figure out which one you're talking about, in case you run into something similar in one of your games. You got Dean Malenko right there. You got Dean Ambrose right there. Nothing really apparent on that screen. You notice for the tag team championship, it says Dean for Dean Ambrose. Now, that could possibly be very confusing, but luckily for me, Dean Malenko has the New Japan Heavyweight Championship, which unfortunately you can't rename as IWGP in this game. It just won't let you. Or if you can, there's a way to do it that I don't know about. I think at some point there will be, but for now this is just strictly vanilla mode, no mods in place. Perhaps I've just outsmarted myself. I thought there was an easy way to... Really, nothing's ever easy with this user interface being so unwieldy in a lot of ways. I'm not going to actually do a loan here. I'm just going to... Okay, that's not going to work either. Okay, here's the trick. I'm not actually going to start a show. I haven't even hired anybody after contract. I'll do that on the next feed. Okay, there's where you can tell. Notice it says what you want to discuss with Malenko. And I don't really want to discuss anything, so I'll return. When I tried it with Ambrose, it said what you want to discuss with Dean. So clearly when they said Dean wants more money, they're talking about Dean Ambrose and not Dean Malenko. But that's going to be something for the next show. Little note to myself for the before I start the September show to throw some more cash Dean Ambrose's way. Although he's my highest paid guy, but I guess now he's one half of the tag team champions once again. If he wants some more money, I guess he'll get it. He has been here since close to the very beginning. Take a look at the health condition of these guys. One last thing to do before I wrap this up for the evening. Okay, so it appears 16 wrestlers I have that are available and healthy. Some guys that are banged up. 16 healthy for September, year 3. Or as I put in my notes, let's use the capital letter Y. So I have to type out year every time. One more thing I'll do is, I'll come back there later. I will look at the merch as well. Okay. Almost sold out of everything. Just got a few masks sitting around. Put them on clearance or something. They're flyer masks. He's in the hospital for 3 months, they're saying. Okay. So I'll be able to print up some all new stuff. Hopefully have either another 65,000 fan show, or I'll increase the ticket price, maybe drop back down to a smaller venue, but be able to generate more money that way. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, the ranking. Well, that's. I really wish that wasn't on this section here. That's just what your ranking was at the end of the last calendar year. Certainly doesn't provide me with any sort of up-to-date information or stats. That's not the screen I wanted. Come on. Okay. Promotion stats. It says data here. Click there. It's promotion stats becomes promotion data. All's well that ends well. You'll notice under details for AEW wrestlers it says 20 out of 21. I haven't had to do this in a while in the game, so just to mention this for somebody that might not have seen earlier, you have to expand your gym to be able to have a larger roster of contracted wrestlers. Right now, my max is 21. So I can sign one more wrestler to a contract, and all other things being equal, not have another retirement like Dr. Death from a few months back. Once I reach that point of 21, I can't sign another wrestler to a contract until either somebody retires or I fire somebody, although I haven't had to do that yet, or I expand the gym to increase my total number of possible wrestlers to have under contract. But now in basically in 5th place. I know it hasn't been at the very top, but it starts with your promotion, because I imagine they thought you'd want to actually see what your guys are doing. So I'm holding steady at a B level popularity in America. B is in Bob. D is in dog for the rest of them. Japan, Latin America, and Europe. But money-wise, $8.5 million. It seems that WWE is just sitting at that $103.5 million mark for assets. Not a bad spot to be in, to be sure. They remain the top dog. New Japan doing all right, I guess, considering the C levels across the board, but I do have their heavyweight championship belt on Dean Malenko. So CMLL, $36 million, so lower asset-wise. They've got 11 wrestlers under contract, 13 for New Japan, 17 for WWE, and then 20 for me. And on down, ACW is down to 5 wrestlers with the retirement of Raven. They're also out of title belts, apparently, which is interesting, because I need to make a note of that as well. The ECW tournament for next month, for September. I'll have to make sure I send a junior heavyweight. AAA's hanging in there. $4.8 million. I did not put them in an easy spot by signing them with hardcore as opposed to lucha, but for the sake of variety, that's what I did. And plus, if you've seen some of those AAA matches, you might have a good idea of why there's an argument to be made for hardcore. Aero Lucha. Ooh, dwindling assets. UWFI at $500,000 in assets. So Aero Lucha, 5 wrestlers with 2 belts. I have one of their belts. So we have 6. I'd have more if I could get my own complete collection of belts out, but got the works gummed up a bit, as it were, with the Junior Tag Team Championship and the 6-Man Tag Team Championship. Although I might just do a rarity for me and actually play one of the matches so I can get the 6-man tag titles out there and have another title belt. It'll still treat like a singular belt, but it's like it's collecting trophies at this point. So that's going to do it for this stream. Time gets away from me when I do this. Blink and a couple hours go by, or close to it. Like, yeah, 2 hours, 26 minutes. According to the, and with the OBS interface on my computer, I have to drag it down. And at the very bottom, it has the information of how long the stream's been going on. But I'm not privy to that information, because to see the mic levels, the audio levels, to make sure they're correct, I'm not peaking the mic or coming through too softly or muffled or whatever. I've got to be able to see that. I have to drop it down below the You just have to trust me on that. Point is, it's tough to tell how much time flies by. But seeing that certainly puts it into perspective that was a 2.5 hour venture. So thanks to everybody for checking out some or all of this. Next time around, it's going to be September year 3. So we move closer to the end of the 3rd year in this fire promoter mode. And I haven't heard a lot about what happens when you get beyond this point. I know a lot of early people I got to play first on the PS4 because that's where this DLC was originally available first. Fire promoter, there was something that happened where a lot of them had some issues with their data getting corrupted. I don't know anything about that firsthand, but it's just what I'd heard. So, point being, there are people that made it 2, 3, 4 years into their fire promoter mode only to have to start again. And I can only imagine how frustrating that was, because that would definitely not be something that would make me happy right around now. So that's going to do it for the stream. Hope to have another stream tomorrow night, USA time. I realize this is a worldwide available stream. If you can figure out what your time is relative to Nashville, Tennessee, Central Daylight Time, you got a pretty good idea. So probably late evening, maybe into early morning. Hopefully not this late in early morning, because I don't remember if I saved it for sure. Okay. So we're locked in with a save. That's going to do it for this feed. I'll talk to you again tomorrow night for September of year 3.